Hey everybody, it's Martha. Welcome to my Shabby Craft Studio. I'm grateful you're here. Today I'm going to do a couple of things. This might be a hodgepodge kind of video, but first I wanted to show you the results of some eco dyeing that I did, and I'm really happy with the way it turned out. So I thought I'd share that with you. I did a couple of other videos, and honestly, I was going to put the video together with that video, and it just was too repetitive. So I may insert some still pictures while I go along to show you some of the steps in between. But basically, I used a stainless steel roasting pan, two of them, that I get at IKEA. They come with a rack inside. For the steaming part, I flipped the rack upside down, and I have a picture of the rack in the roasting pan, but the rack is sitting in the bottom of the pan, and you don't want that. You want to flip the rack. My setup. This is an aluminum pan, or no, stainless steel pan, I believe. I got from IKEA, and it comes with a rack. I can't remember if it comes with a cover. There's the other one, but that came with a rack too. I thought they came with covers, but maybe not, so I used that one as the cover. That one is the bottom, that rack in the bottom, because you don't want your papers touching directly onto the bottom of the pan when you're steaming or when you're boiling. And that's the double burner Farberware hot plate that I use. I am currently soaking some more plants, and this is the acorn water. I'd heated it up, but it really needs to be cool in order to dye any copy paper or cardstock in it, and see what color I get. This is my garden, my little deck garden that I have, that I pilfered all the flowers off. Most of the flowers that came out with color were these and those. So if you have a plant identifier and those, this is the lavender, but I don't think the lavender caused the blue colors. Pretty sure. These plants I didn't use yesterday, but I'm going to use them today. I did throw a few pieces of sage in there. And then this was the plant that had the big purple flowers. I think those helped with some of the blue color. There's one there, getting ready to bloom. But yeah, so that's that. I am turning the pot on, and I am getting ready to put the flowers that Tony bought me and these onto cardstock, which is currently soaking in alum water. So I just pour, like, I don't know, a couple tablespoons of alum water in per, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 quarts of water. So I didn't measure. That's not my style. So we're going to try steaming again. So I'll be back. Over. And I did not get a picture of that. Now, I did boil some of the papers, and I steamed some of the papers. So I'll show you the difference when I get to them. And I also used a spice called alum, A-L-U-M, and I have a picture of that I can insert here as well. And I soaked my papers in the alum water. I just filled a pan with water, you know, an inch or two of water, sprinkled some alum in there. The jar is very small. I only sprinkled maybe, I don't know, a quarter of the jar in there. I didn't measure. I swished it around. I put my papers in, and I let them sit while I was getting the other pan ready and putting it on the double burner, which I will show you here. And I will, and then this is an aluminum pan, or no, stainless steel pan, I believe. I got from IKEA, and it comes with a rack. I can't remember if it comes with a cover. There's the other one, but that came with a rack too. I thought they came with covers, but maybe not, so I used that one as the cover. That one is the bottom, that rack in the bottom, because you don't want your papers touching directly onto the bottom of the pan when you're steaming. or when you're boiling. And that's the double burner Farberware hot plate that I use. I am currently soaking some more plants, and this is the acorn water. I'd heated it up, but it really needs to be cool in order to dye any copy paper or cardstock in it, and see what color I get. This is my garden, my little deck garden that I have, that I pilfered all the flowers off. Most of the flowers that came out with color were these and those. So if you have a plant identifier in those, this is the lavender, but I don't think the lavender caused the blue colors. Pretty sure. These plants I didn't use yesterday, but I'm going to use them today. I did throw a few pieces of sage in there. And then this was the plant that had the big purple flowers. I think those helped with some of the blue color. There's one there, getting ready to bloom. But yeah, so that's that. I am turning the pot on, and I am getting ready to put the flowers that Tony bought me and these onto cardstock, which is currently soaking in alum water. So I just pour, like, I don't know, a couple tablespoons of alum water in per, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 quarts of water. So I didn't measure. That's not my style. So we're going to try steaming again. So I'll be back. Took the papers out. I also wet the leaves in some alum water, and I took the papers out of the water, let them drip. I laid them down, put my leaves and flowers on them, and then I put the next sheet on top, and I repeated that until I had about 10 or 12 sheets. I did not make a huge stack all at once. I have 4 cutting boards, and I used one on the bottom, one on the top. I used binder clips to bind the edges together so they wouldn't fall out, so the leaves and stuff wouldn't fall out. Plus, I'm very lucky because the roasting pans I use, I'm looking for the binder clips. Binder clips like these. This size worked great. I had to use about 6 on each cutting mat, but they worked great. And the only thing is, the binder clips will, they have some sort of paint or coating of some sort on them that will peel off, and they're not much good for using for anything else after that. At least that's what happened to mine. So this is a new box, because my other ones I went to use on a signature and there was black peeling off stuff everywhere. So I did the binder clips, and I'll insert a picture of that as well along the way here. And it worked great. It worked really, really great. I don't know where my husband got the cutting mats. You can get them at Walmart. You can get them at, Target. You can get them at all kinds of stores. You can get them on Amazon. They're just vinyl or whatever it is, whatever the material is, flexible cutting mats, like that you cut meat and vegetables on. So, and mine were definitely bigger than the paper. So they were about this big. So there was lots of overlap, and the stuff did not come floating out using the binder clips and not overstuffing the papers. So I brought the water to a boil, and then I flipped the other pan that I got. I bought 2 pans. I flipped the other pan over on top of it and left it for 2 hours to steam. I turned the heat down a little bit, and I let it steam for 2 hours, making sure the water didn't boil away, because that would not be a good thing. And then they came out great. They really did. Now, I did boil 1 set, or maybe 2 sets, in some acorn water that I did boil the acorns in, and they came out interesting as well. But I didn't like the boiled method. The flowers were really, really soggy and hard to get off. They were slimy, and or plant matter, not just flowers. And so I really like the steaming method, and I will definitely be doing it again. I'll be making notes, and I will keep my binder clips and everything, the cutting mats and everything that I used. I'll be keeping that all together in one place. Anyway, I had fun, and so I want to show you the results. Now, some of these do still have plant matter on them. This is azalea flowers. They were pink, and we have an azalea bush that blooms in the fall, and so yeah, the petals were pink when Tony brought them in, because he went out looking for stuff too. And yeah, we made it a family affair. So there you go. You have to get the biggest tip I can give you about this, if you haven't done this before, is take the plant matter off when it's wet. Otherwise, you will have to either scrape it off like I'm doing, or re-soak it in water, and then you have to wait for it all to dry again. I mean, these basically, like this leaf here, this petal, it basically has become almost part of the paper, and you could leave it on there, but at some point I'm sure it'll dry and fall off. But I thought it was really, really interesting that these petals were pink and that they turned yellow. Now, I don't know if that's a side effect of the alum, or, which is sort of like a mordant, or if it's just just what happened on its own. I don't know if I hadn't soaked the paper in alum, what color the leaves would have come, or the petals would have come out, but I thought it was interesting. And that's a really pretty yellow. So that is the back. And so I'm just going to flip through these quickly because I don't know how long this video will be. And I think actually I'm going to make this video separate from the other video that I'm going to do, where I started some journal covers, and I'm really happy with that effect too, as far as how they came out. I love this one. These came out so perfect. And I'm going to be scanning these really nice ones. I'm going to be scanning these in. Now see, this is more plant matter that didn't come off. And this leaf is a really, it's a heart-shaped, I don't know what the plant is, but it's a heart-shaped leaf that grows in my front yard. And I love hearts, so I thought, well, I got to have a couple of those. And that's what that one and that one are. So yeah. And I have a maple leaf in the back, but it's a yellow maple tree, or whatever they call them, because there's red and there's yellow and there's orange. Ours is a yellow, and so that's what this leaf is. And then we have oak trees everywhere. So of course there are oak leaves in here too. And you know, a lot of them, they came out really nice on the front and the back. That's really pretty because it's very faint, and I love the green colors in here, the mottled green colors. Now these are the ones that I did in the acorn water. So you can definitely see the color on the paper here. And this blue is, these are from flowers that are on my deck, and I will insert a video at some point in this video to show you the plants that I took flowers off of on my deck. My setup, this is an aluminum pan, or no, stainless steel pan, I believe, I got from IKEA. So I use that one as the cover, that one is the bottom, that rack in the bottom, because you don't want your papers touching directly onto the bottom of the pan when you're steaming or when you're boiling. And that's the double burner Farberware hot plate that I use. I am currently soaking some more plants, and this is the acorn water. I'd heated it up, but it really needs to be cool in order to dye any copy paper or cardstock in it, and see what color I get. This is my garden, my little deck garden that I have, that I pilfered all the flowers off. Most of the flowers that came out with color were these and those. So if you have a plant identifier in those, this is the lavender, but I don't think the lavender caused the blue colors. Pretty sure. These plants I didn't use yesterday, but I'm going to use them today. I did throw a few pieces of sage in there. And then this was the plant that had the big purple flowers. I think those helped with some of the blue color. There's one there, getting ready to bloom. But yeah, so that's that. I am turning the pot on, and I am getting ready to put the flowers that Tony bought me and these onto cardstock, which is currently soaking in alum water, because I don't really know the name of anything. This plant here is a bush that grows out front, and it has little purple berries on it, but the purple berries don't give off color. And this is the same plant there. And just various leaves that I have. I hope I'm on screen because my phone is a little higher than I usually have it. This is lavender. I was smelling it to see if it still smelled. When I first took the plants off, you could really smell the lavender. So these are lavender plant imprints, which I grow on my deck. And there's that blue plant again. I don't know what it is, but it's fun that it came out this color blue. It's really lovely. And see the lovely browns? Now there's no real imprint on this, but I love the brown of the acorn water. And there's that's not even plant matter. That's from the plant itself, the flower itself that I used. That's that berry plant again. And again. So yeah, I'm very pleased with the way these came out. These did not come out imprinted as well. I also failed to mention that some of these are watercolor paper and some of them are cardstock. And I do think the cardstock that was not boiled in the water, but rather steamed, came out the best. This one came out beautiful. I love this one. I just love the blues from that plant. And it's just a flower that I'm growing. Now these are leaf imprints, but again, this was watercolor and it was boiled. So these are a more earthy looking, you know, with the brown and yellow and green undertones. I love this one. Now this is cardstock, not watercolor paper. This is watercolor paper. I can tell because it's much, much heavier. It's a really heavy grade watercolor paper. And now we're going to come to some flowers. Tony bought me a batch of flowers, and I'll insert that here. And he went to the store across the road, and he got me some purple, pink, and orange flowers, and they were dyed. So this is all from the dye that extracted from the flowers when I steamed them. But these are all steamed, not cooked in the acorn water. And this is cardstock. I love the way that came out. And so these are some leaves that came in it. They were dark, dark, dark green. And they're really interesting shapes. So that's what those are. This is just a plant I pulled in from out in the yard, and I put it on here, but the colors are from the flowers that were on other sheets. And yes, even though they were steamed, because the pages were all wet from the alum water, the colors bled into these papers. This again is cardstock. And this is where I learned my lesson. That I did not take all this stuff off when it was wet, and it almost becomes a part of the paper. But I am going to scrape all this off, or if I can't scrape it off, or I get tired of scraping it because it takes a while, I will rinse these and peel them off that way. This one I love. This is almost embossed, this plant here. And that is from, I believe that is from a, it's not a pine tree. It's like a bush I have out front, but it's like pine needles sort of, but they're bulkier than that. And it just embossed the page, which I think will show up really nice when I scan it. And this is another plant from the front yard. That's a leaf. This is another plant from the front yard that just has really pretty little leaves on it. Dark green leaves. This came out really cool too. This is the plant with the berries on it, so you can see the imprint of the berries. And again, this is all cardstock. Oops, I hope I'm not shaking the camera. I'm hitting the cord. So now this is where the flowers were. So the color is a lot heavier on these pages. Because that's where the actual flower heads were. And then I had some little yellow flowers, but they were natural colored yellow. And that's what this is right here. And right there. So I thought these came out really pretty. So these will be a couple of sets in the Etsy shop when I can get them all scanned. I'll have to get Tony on that. His last day of work is this Friday. So he's going to be helping me a lot more. I have lots of stuff to scan and kits to make. This one came out really pretty too. I like that one. And again, see, these are when you take them off, strangely enough, when you take them off, the petals are actually the color of the paper underneath. So I have a lot of work to do to get those off. But these will be really pretty in any nature journal. And I just love the mix of colors. Again, got to peel all these off. And this is, again, another embossed piece from that plant outside that is like a fir tree or something, but it's not a whole tree. Now this is the acorn paper. Make sure I'm still in shot. This is the acorn paper, and that is what it looks like up close with the light shining on it. And I brushed it on with a brush, so it came out really interesting. The tablecloth I use, we also use it for tea dyeing, and it has residual tea left on it. And it also has a very slight, like, sort of woven texture to it. And if I can get it up close enough and have it focus, you see the texture in there? And I really love this brown. It's really cool. So I have a ton of acorns outside. I still have water left over, but I put it in the garage because we had 3 days of heavy rain. See the texture in that? It is so much fun. And this is 24-pound weight copy paper. And this is just from the acorns sitting overnight because I did this the next day after. The initial, I took 2 days to do the eco dyeing. Isn't that fun? So I'll be doing a lot more of this because I'll want to use these in my journals. And I have to tell you that I'm sort of on a journal roll right now. But it took me 2 days to recover from doing all this eco dyeing because the pollen count was really, really high. And I was sick for 2 days afterwards. And I'm still a little hoarse and I'm still sneezing. So I will insert, like I said, other either short video clips, snippets, or still photos to show you some of the process along the way of me peeling the plants off so you can see what the actual plants were, and also of the equipment I used, and that'll be it for this video. So I'll be back with my next video very soon, and I hope you'll join me. Thanks so much. Love you all. And I'm grateful that you're here. Thank you. Happy crafting. Bye-bye.